All right, guys, so I did a video in the past about shoulder stability for boxing and combat sports in general. So now I want to give you a video on how you can actually increase your shoulder mobility. And we're going to do that through some soft tissue release and overall articulation of the joint capsule. So I'm going to use several implements. Now, you don't have to use these implements, but it does help. We're going to use a boomstick from Kabuki Strength, and we're going to use an Aku mobility ball to enhance the vice preparation so that I can get into my muscle needed to increase that range of motion. So I'm gonna go over that and stay tuned. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the notification if you wanna see more videos like this. And if you have any questions, you know what to do, hit the comments down below. Let's get into it. Okay, so we have the boomstick here and the Aku mobility ball. We're gonna use these tools and implements. You don't have to use this. This is just a tool that you could use. Again, you could use a lacrosse ball or anything like that, or even get somebody to just dig into you with their thumbs, or you could do it yourself. But I'm gonna go ahead and work on the teres minor, the infraspinatus, and the supraspinatus to help with external rotation, internal rotation, flexion and extension of the shoulder. We're going to help with sensory input to allow for the down regulation of tight tissue, to allow for other range of motion to occur. Then we can start into our controlled articular rotations of the joint capsule to allow for that optimal active and range control. All right, so again, I'm gonna lie back. I'm gonna use the Aku mobility ball to enhance that vice technique so that I can actually grab the tissue, because I'm doing it myself. Now, if you have somebody to help you, you can easily teach somebody how to just hold on and put pressure down. I would say about a 7 out of a 10. So you're not overshooting it, and you're just getting the body ready to do work. You can also use this, right, globally, right, and work through the entire tissue if you wanted to roll out to get a parasympathetic response, but I would prefer doing that after your training for recovery method. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna use the end of the boomstick here to increase that range of motion and to upregulate and desensitize any type of tight tissue, basically giving the body a sensory input to allow for contractibility of that muscle. All right, so what we're gonna do is first, we're gonna work into the infraspinatus, where we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take the tip of this and I'm gonna drive it into right where my anterior delt meets my pec. So I'm gonna lay back. So again, I'm gonna push down actively, making sure that I keep this stable. And all I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna breathe diaphragmatically in through my diaphragm and then blow it out. And as I blow it out, I'm just gonna press a little bit deeper into that chest, pec, and anterior delt region, right? And I'm gonna hold for about a two minute count, right? Making sure that I keep constant tension there. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna work into my lat. So I'm gonna use the Aku mobility ball to create that vice technique so I can actually grab my lat a little bit more efficiently. So when I go to lay down on it, it actually helps me pick up my lat in a way, right? So here, I'm gonna get this situated right by my lat. So I have, hold up. Good there? Okay, so now I'll be able to get in deeper into that lat there, and then make sure that I'm driving in and holding that particular range right there. And now what I can do is I can work through that range and get into that external rotation, and I can raise the arm into a press movement, external rotation, drive into the press movement there. And then right there, I'm go ahead and I'm getting that ability to get into that external rotation, which a lot of fighters lack. So again, I'm giving a sensory input, right? Just some soft tissue release. Back in, and again, I'm breathing diaphragmatically. You wanna do about 2 minutes here, roughly maybe 10 to 20 repetitions, external rotation. And then you can move on to the next one or the other side. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and get into the trap or the supraspinatus so that I can increase flexion, right, of the shoulder, and then also just overall range of motion, and also you're down regulating or loosening up the muscles of the neck in general. A lot of times with the traps, you know, the levator scap, all that gets tightened up, especially with fighters, because we're always here, shoulders are always rolled forward, you're trying to keep your guard up. So again, we want to make sure that we're increasing range of motion, we're increasing the ability to bring the shoulders down, because that's also going to help with conditioning and endurance of their shoulders. A lot of times I see a lot of fighters, they get they tell me, well, how do I keep my shoulders up, or how do I keep my shoulders from getting tired, or my arms from getting tired? That's because you're super tight in your upper trap. So we want to make sure that we're bringing that down, opening up that range of motion. We're increasing the depression, or bringing down the shoulders, utilizing the lats. So I'm going to go ahead again, get that sensory input to get that soft tissue release, so that we can enhance the ability to have range of motion and also the contractibility to produce power. All right, here we go. So I take the ocumobility ball, get it behind, and again, I'm using that vice technique to allow me to get into my trap area here. And from there, I can go ahead, put pressure, 7 out of a 10, maybe an 8 out of a 10. And then from there, I'm just gonna go ahead and get some flexion or lateral flexion here with my ear to my shoulder. So I'm gonna go ahead, breathe in, blow out, and then get some flexion, getting a good stretch, and then back in. You can also go ahead and get into a press movement here. All right, so from here, keep it tight. I'm gonna press up, blow it out, press up, blow it out, tension. And then again, I'm back into the flexion, lateral flexion, to the side, lateral flexion, again, okay? Okay, so now that we got the tissue ready and able to move, and we gave the joints the ability now, or the prerequisites to move through optimal ranges of motion, now we can get into our controlled articular rotations and other forms of mobility through active range of motion. Let's do it. All right, guys, so now we're gonna work into controlled articular rotations of the shoulder capsule. We're working on just flossing the joint out now. Now that we got that soft tissue release, now we're able to work through those ranges of motion that we need to enhance our overall mobility. So the goal with mobility is to make sure that we have active and range control. So everywhere I go into this range of motion, I wanna make sure that I can control that range through specific movements. Now, if I cannot control the range where I'm weak at, and then where I kind of rush through, then I know that I don't have strength in that area. So now I had to utilize things like progressive and regressive angular isometrics, or any type of tool that I could use for isometrics to enhance the contractibility of that tissue there. Because again, if it's a tight muscle, it's usually a weak muscle. So we want to make sure we're enhancing the ability to have that control and strength in those ranges, okay? So first one we're gonna do is CARs, controlled articular rotations of the shoulder capsule. So what I'm gonna do is, basically I'm gonna make sure that my entire body is locked in, so I'm not compensating when I go to do my rotation, all right? So I'm gonna create what's called irradiation, which is tightness of the entire body. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna grab the ground with my toes, I'm gonna screw my glutes in, screw my feet in, tighten up my glutes, lock my lats down, and then I'm gonna pat air down so I don't move in my lumbar, okay? I'm gonna bring my hand out in front of me, thumb is up. I'm gonna go ahead and actively drive into flexion of the shoulder, then raise up. Again, then from there, I'm gonna go ahead and internally rotate the shoulder, bringing my palm out to the side with a big circle, driving my shoulder down into depression here, where the palm is facing out, and then I'm gonna rotate back around, big rotation to where I can't go anymore, still maintaining proper formation of my spine, and then back around. And that'll be one trip through, and I'll do this 2 times. So again, brace the core, pat the air down, drive up, reach up to the ceiling, start to internally rotate the shoulder, drive the palm out, big circle around, then back in. External rotation of the shoulder, thumb is up, rotate through into protraction, and then relax, okay? There's several ways you can do this. If you need to regress or scale it down, you can go to the floor so that your body doesn't use compensation to help with range of motion. All right, next one. Okay, so for this next one, you're gonna use it for external rotation. So we're gonna use a simple wall slide or 5 points of contact or wall angels. There's plenty of different names for this. I just call it 5 points of contact. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead, get in a bent knee position, making sure that your back is flat on the wall. From there, I'm gonna go ahead, making sure my elbows are at 90 degrees. My chin is tucked down to where I'm locking in my C-spine. So it's, basically creating a straight line with my back. And I'm patting my air down so that there's no extension here in the TL junction or thoracolumbar. And we call that an open scissor. So we don't want an open scissor. We don't want to see your chest raise, right? So again, just like when you create an arch for your bench press, we don't want that. We want to create that straight flat back so that you can enhance range of motion in the shoulder. Again, no compensation. We want to be able to disassociate from the shoulder to the spine. So we're going to be here locking everything down, 90-degree angle, right? I'm gonna go ahead, squeeze my glutes and tighten up my lower abs. From there, I'm gonna get into that external rotation and I'm gonna drive up, creating pressure, getting 5 points of contact from my wrist to my elbows, to my shoulders, to my mid-back, all the way down throughout my spine. And I'm gonna keep tension on that wall as I slide up and down. So hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders, and back should be on the wall as you go to slide up and down. Okay, good. So you want to do about 2 to 3 sets for about 10 to 20 repetitions. We've done as many as 25, even up to 50. Again, we've seen tremendous increases in overall range of motion through the external rotation because, again, like I said, a lot of the fighters are kyphotic and drawn in nature. So we want to pull that back, and we use this every day for either prehab or for corrective or in between sets to increase that range of motion inside the interior chain, okay? On to the next one. All right, so for the last one, you're gonna lay on your side. We're gonna work on that internal rotation, and we're gonna use a passive end range hold here. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actively press down on my hand using my other hand, press down on my fist here in the back so I can create that internal rotation of the shoulder. And I'm gonna lay on my side here so I don't cheat, making sure that my elbow is in line with my shoulder. And as I go to press down, I'm gonna go to the end range passively, all right? And then from there, I'm gonna actively drive my hand down while I take my other hand off of my wrist here. So I'm gonna create irradiation, lock everything down, and I'm gonna actively press as I let go of my other hand. So here, create irradiation, lock it down, start to drive, and then hold for a good 10 to even 20 seconds. Keep driving, keep driving, keep driving. And I'm using the antagonistic internal rotation, right, to enhance range of motion here. And then press down. As you can see, I already gained range of motion just off of that. So I'm gonna do one more here so you can see it. I get into the passive end range. 3, 2, 1, and drive down, drive, 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 keep driving. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Now you can see just from that, I went from here to here within 30 seconds. All right, so this can be done within 2 sets. You can do this as a standalone mobility drill, or you can do it to increase range of motion, getting ready for the work ahead, whether it be for your sparring, whether it be for your technique or your drilling, or your strength and conditioning, all right? Again, let me know if you have any questions on this. If you like this style of video, let me know, hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification. I'll see you again next time. Peace.